Time once again for another update from the American Farm Bureau National Convention, virtual this year. Stronger Together is the theme. With us on this broadcast are Lucas and Elise Sjostrom. They are Minnesota's representatives this year in Excellence in Agriculture competition. We're recording this on Monday afternoon, and I think the first round of competition has happened. We don't know the results of that, but we'll talk to both Lucas and Elise on that. Elise, give us a little background. We'll let you update us first. And by the way, they're coming your way, as you can see if you're watching on the video. I got a couple of kids with them, so we appreciate that. Tell us about what the first round of competition was like, Elise.
So we first competed at the state level, and we really just always focus on sharing our story. And I guess I've always emphasized that from the very beginning when I started applying for jobs, and I remember having to apply for a specific job and give a presentation, and had no idea what to do, and decided to just tell my story. And they were so shocked by that concept, and that was surprising to me. And we've just continued to do that ever since. And that's something that my parents have always done as well. And so we shared our story at the state competition, and we were thrilled to be selected as the winners from our state. And today was a little nerve-wracking. I haven't had nerves for a while, which is a good thing, I guess. But it was fun.
So what happens in Excellence in Agriculture? You get up, you present your story. Is there a time limit on it? I assume there must be.
Yeah, so the nice thing about the competition is it's one and done. So we did it at the state level, and we compete against the other people there, and we did it tonight, and round 2 is tomorrow, but it's only the other half of the competitors. So you get 25 minutes, and you can balance that as you wish with your presentation and questions from 3 judges. Each judge will ask 1 question, but if they run out of time before that happens, those don't count. So we aimed for about 16 to 18 minutes, and we're proud to say that I think we nailed that right on as planned. And we're really excited with the way it turned out. We'd be lying if we didn't say we practiced a ton the past few days, and we'd be lying if we didn't say that the Farm Bureau staff in Minnesota helped us out extraordinarily with live audiences, networking people from around the state just to give us live audiences and feedback, and throwing random questions at us all the time.
PowerPoint presentation, lots of pictures, I assume, all part of it.
Yeah, we had basically a slide per minute, about 16 slides. And the 4 areas you need to touch on are your Farm Bureau activities, your leadership activities in agriculture and other organizations, and also your goals for the next 5 years. And along the way, talking about the issues that you've taken on in agriculture. So we kind of threaded those through our story, and we're fortunate. Telling our story is kind of what we both do day to day. We live our story, and we get to do it professionally. So we're very fortunate that it intersected with our lives very well.
All right. So the story, Elise, you alluded to the story. Start to tell us what the story was that you're presenting on behalf of the Sjostrom family.
Sure. We talked about kind of where we came from. You know, I have had dairy in my blood forever and always will, and always wanted to be part of my parents' farm specifically, and didn't realize until I was on the National 4-H Dairy Conference that cheese making was my calling. And I had to convince my future husband that was going to be part of his calling too. But we really spent, you know, at least 10 years prior to starting Redhead Creamery, researching, asking questions, touring over 50 other small scale to large scale cheese companies, and figuring out the ins and outs of how to make this happen on our own basis, on our own scale, and learning how that works now along the way, and sharing our story and figuring out what it is that makes our customer tick, and why are they interested in what we do other than making good cheese.
You're located where? For people who want to know where Redhead Creamery is located.
Redhead Creamery is north of Bruton, Minnesota, about 8 miles. We're right on my parents' dairy farm, Deerlandy Farms, and yeah, right in the heart of the state.
But if you're listening to this, odds are we have a delivery route going right at or near your area. So we ship UPS all the time. We're in about 100 stores from time to time in the Twin Cities. And the delivery route will follow Highway 15 and 14 and 94 and 52 around the state. And so we're in most of Minnesota and also Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Fargo, North Dakota, about once every month or other month.
I assume you've got several varieties of cheese.
We do. We range from a fresh cheese curds to a cloth-bound cheddar to a whiskey-washed Munster that we're waiting on finding out if we won a national award with that in the next 2 weeks or so as well. So yeah, we make a range of artisan-style cheeses that we think are fun and creative, and try to make some that we know our customers will always enjoy as well.
By the way, I need to ask, you had 2 children in the video with you. Who are they? What are their names?
We have Conan here, who's the youngest. He's 11 months old. Henry was with us as well. He is 4 and almost 5. And then we've got Lucy here as well. She is 8.
All right. And we're actually doing this interview. You folks are in Florida right now.
Yeah, that's how we didn't plan on winning the state competition. So it was a pleasant surprise for us.
So as I look in the write-up in the latest Voice, the tabloid that comes out for the Minnesota Farm Bureau, participants are judged on their involvement in agriculture, leadership ability, involvement, participation in Farm Bureau and other organizations. Lucas, I know you're also very involved with the dairy industry and represent a lot of Minnesota dairy farmers. Little background on that.
Yeah, since 2009, I've worked for or with dairy farmers in some way, shape, or form. So for my first 2 years and the last almost 6 years now, working in government relations at the federal and state level on behalf of the Holstein Association and more recently Minnesota Milk Producers Association and Midwest Dairy. At Midwest Dairy, I do university and farmer and industry relations. And in between, I did hold 2 jobs in communications doing agricultural writing for Hordes Dairymen and Dairy Herd Management magazines, and also got my master's degree in animal science, which the judges are interested in our past 15 years. So we're able to share kind of our journey through that. But from day to day, I'm interacting with legislators and regulators in Minnesota and sometimes at the federal level on behalf of dairy farmers.
So Lucas, both you and Elise grew up on dairy farms. Is that how you got connected at one point because of that tie-in?
We owe a lot to the Junior Holstein Association. That's where we first met. We both served on the board of that as young leaders, and later they were my first employer. So we came from registered Holstein herds, but actually taking a chemistry class for the second time because the professors really liked us and wanted us to come back. Chemistry is truly what pulled us together at the University of Minnesota.
Well, I hope you know all the symbols yet for the different things in chemistry. So you folks, you have some tours out on the Redhead Creamery?
We do. You know, we're kind of paused at the moment with COVID, but hoping to open those back up again in the spring, doing farm tours on Fridays and Saturdays all year round typically. And the tour ranges from an hour to an hour and a half of really sharing the history of when our farm was first homesteaded to where we are now and enjoying some cheese at the end of the tour.
Farm Bureau, what's it played a role in your life so far? Do you have some goals and thoughts about Farm Bureau in your lives in the future?
Well, we're very rare, I think, to most farmers and most agriculturalists. We have been members of 4 different county and 3 different state farm bureaus. In Vermont, 2 counties in Wisconsin, and then back here in Minnesota, also both growing up in Farm Bureau families. It's given us a lot. It's a place to turn to for general commodity information and advocacy, and it gave us a group of friends both in Wisconsin and here in Minnesota and great industry contacts. So it is a place for people to be who want to make a difference.
I know we could talk forever, and Lucas, I'm sure your parents, your grandparents, the kids' great-grandparents, they're watching. They'll be taking a look at this, and they would say hi as well. But enjoy your remaining time in Florida. What happens next on the Excellence in Agriculture? They announce finalists. What happens with the contest?
We find out tomorrow night, Tuesday night, whether or not we are finalists, and then
Which is the top 10.
top 10, and then we are find out on Wednesday who the winners and
Of a truck, a tractor, and other big prizes are.
yeah.
So you don't present again. The presentation is all done. Now it's just a matter if you make the finals and where you'd end up in the
Right.
final listing. All right.
Yeah, so that's really nice.
Well, we could talk forever. Got a lot more topics that we could cover, but it's time to let you get back to your family and for us to get back to our other business at hand that we have too at the radio station. Thanks so
Thank
much,
you, Jim.
Elise and Lucas. Great to have you here along with the kids. Enjoy your time in Florida. And congratulations again on being the Minnesota representatives in the Excellence in Agriculture contest going on in the state and national level where you're representing us. Great to have you with us, and thanks so much. Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks,
Jim
Jim.
Bartels reporting on the Ingstead, Minnesota Radio Network.